We also have a related capacity here to the formation of narratives, and that is to form theories. Theories also are integrations of sentences or propositions about the world, but what they involve are more complicated states of affairs, and a whole number of sentences are required to describe all of the elements of that state of affairs in a way that is integrated and consistent. For example, I think a second grade example, a child comes home from school and has a picture that she has drawn that is of the precipitation cycle, and she may have drawn, say, a lake down at the bottom of the page and say there's water in the lake. She may have drawn the sun right up in the sky and the sun's rays shining down on the lake, and then there's a sentence that says the sun shines on the lake. Then there might be evaporation waves, right, going up toward the sky, and she has written the sentence, the heat from the sun evaporates the water, which rises. And then at the top of the page again, we may have some clouds. The water evaporation condenses into clouds. And then a picture, say, of some rain then coming down. The rain falls out of the clouds. And then we might have some trees over here. The rain falls into the trees, and then it's collected and eventually ends up back in the lake again. All right, so that's a precipitation cycle, and there are, say, 6 elements in it that we can describe perceptually here. We know the words for all of the elements of it. We describe all the particular sentences, but we put them all together in a little theory here, our theory of how the precipitation cycle works. Now again, this is a very powerful thing for us to be able to do to understand complicated states of affairs in the world, and it's open-ended. We can start with fairly simple theories such as the weather cycle or the precipitation cycle, expand that to an entire weather cycle, to an entire ecosystem, to an entire planet, to an entire solar system, and so forth. And in all of the other areas of human investigation, we have this open-ended power to have increasingly complicated, abstract, and more general theoretical understandings of the way the world works. All right, so let me tidy this up a little bit here. All right, we have perceptions, which are integrations of sensory data that are coming in, concepts where we group the particulars that we're aware of into abstract classifications, sentences in which we integrate particular concepts into various complicated structures that describe particular states of affairs, and then narratives and theories, which integrate a whole bunch of sentences into more complicated abstract structures here. Now, question, what does this have to do with education? Lots. We certainly want to, as teachers, teach our students how to use their senses, how to use them well to be careful observers in a whole array of circumstances, to be able to use their eyes well, to notice similarities, to notice differences, to use their ears well, to be sensitive to tactile and other sources of information as well. So in our curriculum, as a methodological issue, when we're teaching students various things that we want them to know, we also want to teach them how they can come to know those things. And so we build into our lessons observation skills and so forth. We want them to be able to do conception well, and so we teach them various kinds of classification skills, how to organize things in conceptual structures, perhaps hierarchical trees, and then on the basis of that, we're wanting to be very precise to form definitions, right, that accurately locate a particular concept in our classification structure. So if I say, for example, say I'm a kid who has several hundred concepts kicking around, that a human being is an animal, right? That is partially defining, but that is placing human beings, that concept, in a broader classification scheme, and that's an important step toward defining it. So how do we place all of our concepts precisely in various classification schemes so that we can find our way around fluidly, and as new concepts arise and new phenomena arise, we know how to fit them into our pre-existing classification scheme. The science and art of being able to take concepts and put them together into well-formed sentences, and to be able to do that powerfully and sophisticated in a way that meaningfully communicates and captures information about the world. That is the science of grammar. The ability to take sentences and put them into narrative structures that communicate clearly and powerfully and effectively. That is the study of rhetoric. And to be able to take propositions and sentences and narratives and the whole apparatus here and put it into explanatory accounts of the way the world works in a way that is consistent with all of the data, doesn't leave any of the data out. That is the study of logic, broadly conceived here. All right, so these are the abilities that we have. These are the skill sets that we then need to teach. And as educators, the epistemological mission is for us to build in age developmentally appropriate ways, the methodological issues so that students, as they're going through the educational process, learn how to do all of these things, do all of them independently, do all of them efficiently, so that by the time they are adults, they are proficient in all of these areas and then can be independent learners, figuring out the things that they need to know, verifying the things that they've learned from other people for themselves, and then hopefully contributing to the stock of human knowledge.